doubt that they know anything at all about how to use a firearm, how to engage in long-range targets, and how to use ballistic computer for extreme long-range sniper shooting at skills which become life or death knowledge in situations involving kinetic confrontations, as history has shown. Like all other cowardly, mentally deranged, lunatic leftists, the Boston Herald editors want someone else to do their killing for them. It shows the true manlyhood, and they have Palmolive hands. Okay? There you go. Hence, the need to disarm the public. Sorry about that. Hence, the need to disarm the public. The gross sides of government, criminalize free speech, then call for anyone who disagrees with them to be murdered en masse. It is a fundamental religion of the left, and it's forever rooted in fascism, violence, and a kind of extreme mental illness that sooner or later pushes societies towards Venezuela or North Korean outcomes. The Boston Herald is openly demonstrating exactly why liberalism is not only a mental disorder, but why it's also fatal for a civilized society. Why I am filing a complaint with the FBI and the Boston police in conclusion with this editor calling for the killings of vaccine skeptics. The Boston Herald has just declared open warfare on people like myself who are informed, compassionate defenders of the lives of children. The Boston Herald has directly threatened rational vaccine skeptics and is now complicit in any acts of aggression or violence against any of us. Today, I am filing an official criminal complaint with the Boston FBI to urge them to investigate the Boston Herald staffers for their criminal intimidation and calls for mass murder. And I am going to inform the FBI that I consistently assert my right to invoke a firearm in my own self-defense against violent lunatics like the Boston Herald terrorists. As part of this effort, I have already called the Boston police, and they told me where to officially file my complaint in my local jurisdiction so they could open an investigation into the Boston Herald. Furthermore, I'm considering taking action of publicly publishing the home addresses of all Boston Herald editorial staff as a violent crime warning. Watch to all of our readers who live in the Boston area and may not know they are living next to an insanely violent vaccine-raged psychopaths. To keep our neighborhood safe, people need to know the whereabouts of these Boston Herald staffers who are now openly calling for the murder of holistic health practitioners, journalists, and scientists. Perhaps I will publish an interactive Google map showing where they all live so that citizens can be on the alert against with their threats of extreme violence and murder. After all, we publish maps of violent sex offenders as a warning to citizens. I think it's also time we started publishing maps of violent race psychopaths that are openly calling for violence and murder of members of the holistic healing community. I also plan to share these details with the FBI to save them time on their own investigations. In summary, not only must we all remain vigilant in protecting our children from vaccine violence, we must also protect each other from vaccine rage and its tendencies to turn adult human beings into violent, raging lunatics who work at newspapers like the Boston Herald, which has clearly become a journal terrorist organization, by openly calling for the mass killing of scientists and journalists like myself. Stay tuned to vaccine.news for an update on this story as events unfold. For the record and in the interest of my own protection, I'm a licensed concealed carry firearms owner, fully trained in tactical handgun combat, and I'm publicly asserting my God-given right to defend my life and my person against violent aggressors who pose an immediate threat to my safety. I will not hesitate to act within my lawful rights in my own self-defense and the defense of others, including innocent children, against the deranged, violent lunacy of the vaccine zealots like those at the Boston Herald, all of whom should be locked up in a psychiatric ward or tried for the acts of domestic terrorism. And there's plenty of information on here where to go. If you live in the Boston area, you can file a complaint to them. And like it says here, Boston filing a criminal complaint with the Boston police, only those who live in Massachusetts. Phone number 617-343-4500. Boston Police email bpi.bbd@cityofboston.gov. Boston Police Twitter handle @ the symbol @ Boston Police. And they can go on here, file a criminal complaint with the Boston FBI, and they're located at 201 Maple Street, Chelsea, Massachusetts, at 02150, or phone number 857-386-2000. FBI Boston Twitter handle at FBI Boston. Report the threat. File a complaint with the Boston Herald at https://tips.fbi.gov. All right, interesting there. And call 1-800-CALL-FBI, or it's 225-5324 for the Major Case Contact Center. What to report to the FBI: explain that you are someone who is informed and critical about toxic vaccine ingredients such as mercury, and the Boston Herald editorial staff just called for you to be murdered. If you feel threatened by this advocacy of violence by the Boston Herald, explain this to the FBI. If you feel like your life is in danger, also share this with the FBI. If you're willing to tell the FBI you are able to be interviewed or serve as a witness in a criminal trial against the Boston Herald terrorist. Demand the Boston Herald retract its terrorism threat. Boston Herald. 3. Library 617-619-6332. Retail and advertising 617-619-6185. Photos 617-619-6499. Letters to the editor. He can write, here it is. It says letters to editor. Okay. At bostonherald.com, or street address Boston Herald, 70 Fargo Street, Boston, Massachusetts, 02210. Well, what do you guys say about that, my friends? They want you to be a terrorist or a criminal because they are offended. Because a lot of folks are learning the whole thing on vaccines is irrelevant, unacceptable. And one thing about it, if I'm correct, what they're doing is considered a violation of Section 802 of the USA Patriot Act, right? Something to look at, my friends. It's good to give them a taste of their own medicine, don't you think? And I can tell these people from the Boston Herald, you think you're real tough? I want you to go out there on your own free will and see what happens. Even come down to a place like Florida, Texas, Arizona, and Vermont, Maine. You're going to get a lot more where you can finally chew on. Okay, the whole world is not like the state of Massachusetts or the country itself. A lot of us are pro self-defense. A lot of us do carry, and we're not afraid to even use it against parasites like yourselves. And that's not a threat. It's a prediction. You got to make that choice. I know one thing, you little cowards out there, have a bowl of palm so you put your hands in there like those pathetic politicians in Washington, D.C. Well, like, go figure. You got someone like Senator James Carey, think he's some tough guy. He can't even wipe his own behind, okay? Just to give you an example. And Mitt Romney as well, okay? Those are the kind of clowns you got in there. Just give you a couple, too. I can go on and rant wherever I want. I can rant in here all day, and I'll be digressing. And I know one thing for sure. If Paul Revere was alive, it was a come on out, bare-fisted, I'll whip all your behinds. That's what Paul Revere was saying. And his Minutemen. Well, what do you guys say about that, my friends? Something to really think about, right? Absolutely. All right. Well, enough of the ranting. I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to send me something that's interesting and may want to check out, whatever you do, please address your correspondences with decorum. You can hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker. I'm with you.